Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7. So ever since the Comic-Con trailer for Arrow Season 7 dropped in like mid-July, whenever it was, the thing that we have all been thinking has of course been, how the hell do they keep Stephen Amell's bits and pieces covered up in that shower fight scene? And then of course the second thing was around who would be the face behind the mask of that Green Arrow imposter. Obviously, Oliver Queen is in prison, so he can't be suited up as Green Arrow, so who the hell is it? Well, the common theory has that it has been someone that we have seen on the show before, or still have currently on the show, or even possibly a character that we were introduced to in episode 1 of this season. So the top runners for the Green Arrow imposter were like Roy Harper, Malcolm Merlin, Komodo, Ricardo Diaz, or even one of the Longbow hunters, and then even thanks to the first episode of the season, with that last scene of the episode, future William Clayton even got thrown into the mix, which I thought was a bit out there, seeing that I think Arrow introducing time travel would be a bit too much. But thanks to an accidental drop by Spoiler TV, which was deleted fairly quickly after they posted it, as well as some posts on Instagram, we actually have the identity of the Green Arrow imposter, or at least someone that will be hidden behind a mask this season. But due to things we saw in the first episode, things really do line up to this actually being the person that is going around as the Green Arrow early on in Season 7. Now, obviously, spoiler alert, in the thumbnail I'll probably put a picture of whoever it is. I guess that's a minor spoiler. However, I'm not going to reveal the name yet, so here's your spoiler alert. But in regards to the picture of the person there, because this is so far away from when this person's actually going to be released or revealed, no, regardless if you try to stay off the internet and try to avoid this, you would find out before it happened in the episode. It's just inevitable. Whenever people complain about, Paige, you spoiled something that's going to happen on the show, look, dudes and people, you would have found out regardless. Okay, you're just finding out a bit earlier from me than you would from another source on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or anything like that, or even YouTube. You would have found it out regardless. So don't attack me for finding out now. I'm just bringing it to you early. But here we go. So as you can see here, we have a list of episode numbers and their names for Arrow this season up to episode 10. And I have just left episode 10 like blanked out for a bit, just for dramatic effect, I guess. So you can see we have episode 7 called the Slabside Redemption, which is a great name. Obviously a play on the Shawshank Redemption. I guess the big question is whether Oliver is breaking out of prison in that episode, or if it is someone else. Is Oliver the Andy or the Red in that scenario? We'll have to wait and see. But it is episode 8 where we see the episode title of Unmasked. Now, episode 8 is the mid-season finale for Arrow, as the following week, episode 9, which is usually the mid-season finale episode, they've swapped it around this year, and that's actually the crossover episode. So that would be the last episode of Arrow, the crossover episode, until we go into that mid-season break, and then we'll come back with episode 10 in late January sometime. Now, it does say Hour 2 as the episode title for the crossover. That actually won't be the name of the episode most likely. It is just Hour 2 of a 3-hour crossover, so don't look too deep into that. But with episode 8 being the mid-season finale for Arrow and it being called Unmasked, it does look like we'll be waiting a while for the Green Arrow imposter to be unmasked on the show. However, even though Arrow has done a pretty good job at keeping many things a secret this season, such as all that future flashback stuff going on, as well as just Roy's use on the show this season, it seems that the identity of the Green Arrow imposter has slipped. Now obviously this isn't 100% confirmed, but things definitely seem to be pointing to this being the case. Another spanner could be chucked into the works here, but it does seem very unlikely just due to what will be shown in the remainder of this video. So episode 10 also had its episode title revealed, and that episode title essentially reveals who is under the hood. Especially when you look at some stuff that happens in episode 1, and even could relate to the flash forwards with Roy and William eventually. And that episode title is, in classic Arrow style, My Name is Emiko Queen. Now for some of you might be going holy crap, no way, are they really doing that? And then for some of you might be going who the hell's that? Well, in the comics, Emiko Queen is the half-sister of Oliver Queen. Now, she is the daughter of Robert Queen, who we all know, as well as Shadow. Now, that's in the comics, and it is very, very, very unlikely that will be the same on the show. It could be, but I highly doubt it due to the way that we saw Shadow used on the show. Now, we know Robert Queen got around, so it is easy to believe that elsewhere in the history of the Arrowverse, Robert did have another child with someone else, who has now grown to become Emiko Queen on the show. Now, in the comics, as I said, she's the daughter of Robert Queen and Shadow, but she was also raised by Komodo and was trained by him, and that was how she became as skilled as she was. So they could do something similar on the show, where maybe she was trained by the Longbow hunters, or even someone like Talia al Ghul, something like that, just so it makes a bit more sense on the show. Or at least it's a bit easier for everyone to believe that she could be that highly trained. because from what we saw in episode 1, that Green Arrow was pretty decent. Now, when this was released on Twitter, people were bringing up the fact that wasn't Thea Queen Oliver's half-sister? And yeah, that was the case, but I think they really want to play with the whole thing about Oliver Queen having like a half-sibling that he had no idea existed, which is basically what Emiko was in the comics, while Thea, Oliver just thought she was his sister, and then, okay, well, it's changed to half-sister, but the relationship really didn't change too much. So, obviously, they're just probably going to go for a bit of a different relationship with Emiko and Oliver, you would have to think. Now, it is, like, all good and well knowing the name of who will most likely be behind the mask of the Green Arrow imposter, but do we actually have a face? Well, yes, most likely, as you can tell by the thumbnail. It does seem that the actress known as C. Shamuka, hopefully I am pronouncing that correctly, will be playing the character of Emiko Queen. I will leave her Instagram linked in the description down below if you want to go follow it, like just in like advance, so you're not like late to the party in regards to following the new Arrow cast member. Now, she is followed by Stephen Amell, James Bamford, and some others, I think, and she herself follows them as well as the official Arrow Instagram as well. She did also post this picture here on Instagram, but then deleted it, and I think she deleted it around the time the title was leaked for Emiko Queen, but once something is on the internet, it's hard for it to be like forever off the internet. Now, on Instagram, you'll also be able to see a video of her training with T3 Athletics, who is one of the dudes in Vancouver who does like a lot of training with the actors in the Arrowverse, especially the Arrow cast. Now, it does seem that Emiko was attached to the casting character name of Konomi Rhodes, who would be half Japanese, half Caucasian, and be a formidable fighter who ends up clashing with the heroes of Star City, with her background consisting of being a tactician in the military, while also carrying on as a street fighter. Now, they might change that a bit, but, they'll probably keep the like a rough outline of that character description. And really, when you look at that, the Green Arrow imposter will clash with the heroes of Star City, and seeing that background as a tactician and then that following on into being a street fighter, seems like, some decent training into becoming a vigilante. And as you should be able to remember, if you watched my videos on this over the break, this was one of our top picks, that they could be bringing Emiko Queen onto the show, and this character fit that description. So this is pretty cool to see. We did also say that Catherine McNamara could have also fit this description, so it will be interesting to see what her character is on the show, because it does seem that her character is coming in at, roughly the same time that this Emiko Queen character is coming in as well. So that's going to be interesting. In regards to the things that we saw in episode 1 that tie Emiko Queen to the Green Arrow imposter mantle, I would say there are two things. The first being that it was widely spread out that Oliver Queen was sent to prison for his role as the Green Arrow in Star City. So I'm sure Emiko would have been, hit with this news no matter where she was. And possibly over her life, she has been, trying to connect the dots to her lineage in regards to her family. And maybe things just lined up perfectly, and here we are in season 7, and she comes to Star City to assume the role of Green Arrow, almost as like a family legacy of sorts. The other thing is the Book of Names that we saw at the end of episode 1. Now, as soon as I saw that Book of Names at the end of last episode, I immediately ruled out Roy Harper as the imposter. It would make no sense as to why he would be rocking that, or at least it didn't make sense to me at least. But with Emiko seeing that she is tied to Robert Queen, who knows what happened in her past that could have had her attached to a book of names of her own. Now, that book that the Green Arrow imposter had looked, pretty shiny, pretty brand spanking new. So possibly between Oliver being sent to prison and the commencement of season 7, names could have been added to the book by Emiko, aka Green Arrow imposter, so that when she was ready to strike and assume the role of Green Arrow, she had a list of targets to hit. And it does seem, at least from the first episode, she is targeting people affecting the Glades, but we'll have to, wait and see what happens there. In regards to the voice we hear from the Green Arrow imposter, I'll play it right now.
I have what I came for. Jason's dead. You have failed the city.
It is scrambled as hell to really make you unsure whether it is a woman or a man, but in episode 1, they were constantly referring to the imposter as him, and I'm interested to see if they keep going with that. So it is a surprise to the characters on the show when it is actually revealed that him is actually a her. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on this? Do you like Emiko Queen coming into the show? I'm interested to see how they bring her into the show in regards to her past. Who is her mother? Obviously you have to think Robert Queen's her father. So who is her mother? Now, obviously you could say it's connected to the future, but, Unmasked, episode 8, episode 10, My Name is Emiko Queen. You'd have to think she's this Green Arrow that's going around. So yeah, I doubt it's some future crap. But yeah, just let me know all of your opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.